Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook, Chapter 56. After Du Ling completed the awakening and gave Shen Qingling 6 dark underworld fruits, Su Bai still had 35. Among them, there are 14 awakening E-level abilities, and 21 awakening D-level abilities. And it is also a D-level poison type ability, and there are subdivisions. The fruit produced by the second dark tree has a certain interference effect. Of course, the main source of damage is toxins, which is beyond doubt. But not everyone, like Du Ling, has an entry like Death Saint that adds damage. When other power users cannot directly poison the enemy, the extra interference effect is quite critical. Su Bai has 5 such dark fruits, and the other 16 are from the dark tree that originally fixed the bone-eating poison. They only have the effect of poison and cannot disturb the mind. Su Bai pondered for a moment and decided to ask Shen Qingling what price the special team was going to offer to buy the dark fruit. Su Bai also doesn't mind selling a batch if the price is right. Make money, it's not shabby. Su Bai sent a message to ask. Not idle while waiting for a reply. There are still 2 opportunities to fix the entry today. According to the original plan, I will refresh the entries for the remaining light spirits and water spirits, in order to obtain combat assistance. If not, there is no need to force it. The current combat power is actually enough. Du Ling is practicing her abilities next to her, preparing to develop more attack methods, instead of just throwing a ball of venom out. Too much consumption. According to Du Ling's perception, the ball of energy she threw out just now consumed about 1/10 of her stamina. A skill that can only be used 10 times per battle and needs to be improved. No one knows how long the storm will last and how many monsters will invade. Prepare for the worst. Du Ling comes from a slum and has not received complete power training. But Zhan Mengyu was different. She was a candidate for the special affairs team and had sufficient theoretical knowledge, so she immediately guided her. The 2 practiced in full swing and were quite effective. Su Bai looked for a while and retracted his gaze, called the light spirit and water spirit in front of him, and began to refresh. 4 light spirits and 3 water spirits, a total of 21 alternative entries. There are 3 excellent level entries, no matter how high it is. Slightly disappointed, but reasonable. Mark. Excellent grade, leaves a mark on the target, can emit light for a long time, and the item level is upgraded to the gold lower grade. Water column impact. Excellent level, creates a water column with a certain impact, and the item level is upgraded to silver middle grade. Clear water shield. Excellent level, a shield made of water condensed, can resist an attack, and the item level is upgraded to the top silver level. 3 excellent level entries, the effect is very good. It's a pity that Su Bai has 2 fixed chances left today, so he can only put 1 on hold for now. After thinking for a moment, Su Bai decided to fix water column impact and clear water shield. Markers, while useful, can make enemies invisible in dimly lit environments. But this storm, the battle area is relatively fixed, which is the 2 passages of the island. Just close your eyes and attack there without thinking too much. In addition, Su Bai has 3-dimensional detection assistance, and can know the landing position of the monster. The space for marking is mainly to fight in different places. The water column impact and the clear water shield are very practical. 1 attack and 1 defense can make Su Bai better defend the passage. After fixing the 2 entries, the 2 water spirits were also strengthened. Su Bai took a moment to glance at his island rating, which was already 237 stars. Breaking through 200 stars, but there is no notification from the island world, and there is no new effect. It's a little pity, but Su Bai also knows that he can't be too greedy. Besides, 200 stars will not work, so there are still 500 stars and 1000 stars. Su Bai gathered his thoughts and prepared to move on to the next step. Cut leaks. Opening the newcomer chat area, Su Bai smiled. Lighthouse Country. Richard. At Su Bai. The cunning people of the Dragon Kingdom, come out and say the dark fruit. Close black lens bracket. The sun never sets. Fizz. At Su Bai. I deliberately waited until now, but you didn't move, come out. Close black lens bracket. Bang Zigyu and Xuanyang. Zaiba, I want the dark fruit, I want to be a superpower. Close black lens bracket. Fuzang Kingdom Oshima Yoshikawa. Hurry up, I can't wait. A Sangwo Teta. Don't wait, what's so good about the dark fruit, take a sip of holy water, and easily hang the power user. Longuo Sun Li. God Su, just squeak, we will all be thankful for the flowers we waited for. Open black lens bracket, close black lens bracket. The trainee island owners in the chat area are calling on Subai to appear quickly. I sent a message more than 2 hours ago, and then there was no movement. Can I still talk about the morality of the rivers and lakes? Even the trainee island owner jumped out and said that Subai must be lying to them, so that they can't get enough rest and can't guard the storm tomorrow, and their hearts can be punished. For such remarks, Subai naturally did not take it to heart. Take out a small notebook and write down the name. After a while, even if they paid a high price, they would not sell the dark fruit to them. Putting away the book, Subai was about to speak in the newcomer chat area when he received a message from Shen Qingling. The special team is going to buy 20 dark fruits, preferably those that can awaken D-level abilities. After pondering for a moment, Subai replied, I can give you 15 pieces. As for the price, I will decide when I have the rest. Subai wouldn't set the price so early. The price is not determined by him, but by the market. Immediately, Subai put the dark fruit on the trading center and sent a message in the newcomer chat area. Dragon Kingdom Subai. 14 E-level dark fruits and 6 D-level fruits have been listed on the trading center, welcome to buy. This message will stay at the top of the newcomer chat area, and it will also flash. As long as you click on the chat area, you can see it at first glance. Subai became more and more satisfied. Island World is on the way. The trainee island owners who had been waiting for a long time opened the trading center one after another, and then yelled. What a bummer. A total of 20 dark fruits were put on the shelves separately, and the auction mode was set, and there was no cap. Lighthouse Country. Richard. At Subai. You are not being kind. Close black lens bracket. Fuzang Kingdom. Kamita Zheki. Your conscience is very bad. Banksy Country. Park Guochang. At Subai. You are our drifting compatriot. How can you do this? I ask you to hand over the dark fruit and distribute it to our island owner. Open black lens bracket. Close black lens bracket. The apprentice island masters were so angry that their teeth were shattered. In doing so, it would be too difficult for them to obtain the dark fruit. Judging from the situation in the chat area, this storm at least affected hundreds of thousands of trainee island owners. Even if 90% of the people inside are paupers with empty pockets. But there are still tens of thousands left. With so many people grabbing 20 dark fruits, one can imagine how fierce the competition is. Prejudice is that the island owners of Xi Jinping can only recognize it by pinching their noses. This is related to the life of the family. Who knows how many monsters will appear in the storm, and if you can have one more ability user, you will have more protection. If money is gone, you can make more money. If life is gone, there is nothing left. The trainee island owner knows this truth. They scolded and scolded, and the bids were better than one. Chapter 57. The chat area and trading center used by apprentice island owners are different from those used by official island owners. In fact, Subai really wanted to maximize his profits, so he could let Shen Qingling sell the dark fruit on his behalf and put it on the official island owner's trading center. However, the trouble with this is that the sales proceeds need to be transmitted twice, and the cost is high. Not to mention the consumption of Subai's own island, Shen Qingling's island energy will also be consumed. This is another unresolved human account. If you count this part, you might as well sell it directly on the newcomer channel, which is not much different anyway. While thinking about it, Subai was delighted to see that under the dark fruit of the trading center, more and more people were bidding. At first, the apprentice island owners were more restrained. It is estimated that it is with the mentality of wanting to find out. But soon, the situation was out of control. Even though there are many apprentice island owners calling for restraint and not letting the profiteer Subai make money. But those apprentice island owners in stormy areas can't manage that much. They finally became apprentice island owners, and they didn't want to just give up. In just 1 or 2 days, they have already felt the difference brought about by the change of identity. Teleport back to Blue Star, where there are flowers, money, beauty, compliments, applause. After experiencing this, it is more uncomfortable to let them return to their ordinary people than to kill them. Many trainee island owners have already made decisions. Even if he died in the storm, he would not flee back to Blue Star. But reckless combat is not their identity. It would be even better if you could train a psychic, or become a psychic yourself. This dark fruit must be won. Su Bai sat high on the referee's bench and watched the trainee island owners keep making bids. In just a few minutes, the price has exceeded his initial expectations. At the beginning, in Su Bai's calculation, he felt that one dark fruit for 10 special plants should be almost the same. After all, special plants are hard to come by. Even if there is financial support, the cost of sending it has to be considered. But now, even the basic E-rank dark fruit, the price has reached 12 special plants. As for the D class, there are already more than 20. Su Bai jumped up in excitement. He calculated that the fruit of power was very expensive, but he didn't expect it to be so expensive. In other words, don't those people know that there is a chance of awakening the fruit of supernatural power? Even ordinary people with potential may need a few or even a dozen fruits. After all, even Du Ling, who owns Death Saint, had to eat 4 dark underworld fruits to wake up, not to mention others. If you are unfortunate enough to choose a candidate with no potential, it will be useless to eat more. But on second thought, Su Bai knew the reason. The apprentice island owners knew this, but they had no choice. The monsters in the island world are very strong, and it is difficult for ordinary people to beat them. They know how difficult it is to become a trainee island owner. That kind of experience, they don't want to experience it again. Ordinary people want to kill island monsters, basically they can only fill the gap with human life. But the problem is that no one can be sure how many monsters will appear in the storm. Even if you want to fill the holes with ordinary people, you don't know how much to prepare. And recruiting more people will increase the risk of monster invasion. Die faster. Adertisement. In addition, although ordinary people want to go to the island world, I am afraid that not many people are willing to go there when they know they will die. It is better to die than to live. Hot weapons cannot be used in the island world, and only those cold weapons of Blue Star are really not useful. Only superhumans are the first choice for dealing with island monsters. Even the only option. After thinking about it for a while, Su Bai looked at the trading center again and found that the price went up a bit. E-level dark fruits are worth at least 15 special plants, and D-level ones are already more than 25. Su Bai rubbed his hands together with an unstoppable smile at the corner of his mouth. There are still many rich people. With emotion, Du Ling's voice floated from the side. Islander, what happened? You seem to be very happy. Zan Mengyu also said, the corners of your mouth are about to go up to the sky. Su Bai touched the corner of his mouth subconsciously and said, is there any? It seems there is. Su Bai coughed and said something roughly. Du Ling's eyes widened and she exclaimed, Islander, doesn't that mean I ate at least 100 special plants just now? How much does that cost? Zan Mengyu was also a little surprised. The price is outrageous. However, she immediately reacted and analyzed, this storm came too early. Many people may have just become island owners yesterday, and they are about to face the storm. They urgently need to strengthen their strength. Under the operating rules of the island world, the most suitable plan is to cultivate ability users. For this reason, the fruit of ability is indispensable. And the fruit of supernatural power, even if it is in the hands of the official island owner, is a scarce resource. It is also very difficult for the apprentice island owners who sell the ownership of the island to obtain the fruit of supernatural power from the consortium they rely on. This auction of dark fruit is not only to survive the storm, but also to increase the right to speak. Even that's the main purpose. After some analysis, there is reason and evidence, and Du Ling nodded again and again. Here you can see the difference between Du Ling and Zan Mengyu. Du Ling was born in a slum, and she only received regular education. On the other hand, Zan Mengyu is different. She is a candidate of the special team's ability user and has received complete training. Not only is he proficient in combat skills, but also other knowledge needs to be supplemented in order to better assist the island owner. Analyzing the current situation is not difficult for Zan Mengyu. Su Bai became more and more satisfied. Zan Mengyu can be regarded as a compound talent. Bring her to the island, no loss. Du Ling and Zan Mengyu rested for a while before going to the side to practice again. Su Bai continued to pay attention to the trading center, while watching the information in the newcomer chat area. Soon, a message caught Su Bai's attention. Maple Leaf Country Kebert, at Su Bai. I have a coordinate jade, and I want to exchange it for a D-rank dark fruit. If you are interested, Please apply through a friend. Close black lens bracket. The message was quickly swiped, but Subai still saw it, and immediately opened the friend application to find Kebert. After passing the friend request, Kebert immediately sent a screenshot. Coordinates of the Enchanted Island. Low-grade black iron. After use, open a teleportation channel that lasts for 2 hours to connect to the Enchanted Island. Different from the coordinate jade ultimatum given by the Special Affairs team before, this piece of iron in Kebert's hand is not of high grade, it is the lowest grade of black iron. And the description information is also very short. There is no warning of danger, but it also shows that the Enchanted Island is not of high value. But for Subai, whether the value is high is not his decision, nor the island world. But the words have the final say. Even a special plant of the low-grade black iron can take off in place with a mythical entry. The probability is too small to be ignored. Concentrating, Subai sent Kebert a message. Open black lens bracket can close black lens bracket. Chapter 58. For Subai, it is obvious to exchange a dark fruit for the coordinates of a magic island. For Kebert, he was exhausted as a trainee island owner, and asking him to demonize the island would be tantamount to death. In fact, it is not that Kebert has not considered selling to a consortium. But the other party bid very low. As for the supernatural fruit that Kebert wanted, there was no shadow at all. Fortunately, there is no way out. Kebert saw Subai's message, and hope rekindled in his heart. In fact, Kebert's psychological expectation is an E-class dark fruit. Just talking about business, it has always been asking prices to pay back. So he offered a D-level dark fruit. Unexpectedly, Subai agreed immediately. Kebert almost burst into tears. Unexpectedly, when he was helpless, the one who was willing to lend a helping hand turned out to be a native of the Dragon Kingdom. And those who call themselves allies, all pretend to be dead silent. Kebert suddenly felt a sense of remorse. When he was at Blue Star before, he often published remarks against the Dragon Kingdom on the internet while he was studying and training. There is no other reason, just follow the trend. People in the Maple Leaf country were saying this, and he followed suit. Unexpectedly, the first supernatural fruit turned out to be the apprentice island owner from the Dragon Kingdom. And it came up as a D-grade fruit. Almighty Lord, forgive my fault. Kebert gestured for a cross. In order to prevent the knight from dreaming too much, Kebert quickly put the coordinate jade on the trading column and then waited nervously. In fact, Subai also knew that as long as he was willing to negotiate the price, he would be able to buy this coordinate jade with an E-level dark fruit. Now that the initiative is in his hands, Kebert is the anxious party. But he was too lazy to toss. The existing E-level dark fruit has been listed in the trading center, and it is very troublesome to cancel the auction. Mainly, it is easy to reduce the weight of the island world. That's the real gain. Anyway, there is a ready-made D-level dark fruit, just put it on it. As for whether the Special Affairs team will fail to awaken because of one missing one, that's none of Subai's business. Awakening was an impossible thing to say. It was a failure, and they were unlucky. While Subai completed the transaction with Kebert, he also sent a message to Shen Qingling. Now the price of D-level dark fruit is relatively high, can the Special Affairs team accept it? If not, I will list all of them on the trading center. Subai did not say how high the price was, as it was still changing. However, there are members of the Special Affairs team in the trainee island owner, and they will report the data, and the Special Affairs team knows the situation. Shen Qingling's message came quickly. Except, the special team will purchase according to the final price. After getting an affirmative answer, Subai was relieved. According to his calculations, the special team's acquisition of these dark fruits is probably also for the apprentice island owner under his command. Subai didn't join the special team, but there are more people who want to join. There are also many people who have handed over the ownership of the island. They are the direct descendants of the Special Affairs team. But these have nothing to do with Subai. He put away the jade ultimatum of the coordinates of the enchanted island that he had just obtained, and prepared to land after the storm was over. After thinking about it, Subai sent another message in the chat area. Dragon Kingdom Subai. Unlimited acquisition of magical island coordinates, black iron coordinates for an E-level dark fruit, bronze for D-level, apply for friends directly with screenshots. Subai decided to take advantage of the fire to the end. If you don't seize the opportunity to get good things from the apprentice island owners, what's more? As for how many dark fruits can be left for the special affairs team in the end, it can only be left to fate. On the other hand, Kebert looked at Su-bai's new message, and was only happy in his heart. Fortunately, he took the initiative to take the coordinate jade, otherwise, according to the latest price, he can only get the E-level dark fruit. The D-level and E-level combat power is at least 3 times worse. Kebert smiled, looked at the dark fruit in his hand, and carefully put it to his mouth to eat. He ate slowly and carefully, for fear that the juice would fall to the ground. Hiccup. Kebert hiccuped in anticipation. Thinking that he was about to become a power user, Kebert couldn't sit still with excitement. Although becoming a power user will cut off the opportunity to obtain ancient inheritance. But there are so many island owners, there are a few who can get inheritance, it is better to directly become an ability user, and it is the right way to hold the power in your hands. As for cultivating ordinary people to become power users, Kebert has no plans for the time being. How can the hard-won fruit of supernatural power be used on ordinary people? He, the island owner, must use it first. Even if there is a contract in the island world, outsiders are unreliable. Kebert's thoughts were racing in his heart, and he waited quietly. 5 minutes passed. 10 minutes passed. Half an hour passed. Kebert's eyes widened in disbelief. Failed. Did he not wake up? Impossible. He is the apprentice island owner, the chosen one, how could he not be able to awaken his abilities? The joy in Kebert's heart disappeared, he raised his head suddenly, and said word by word, Su-bai, it must be the hands and feet of that cunning Long Kingdom. With this in mind, Kebert decisively opened the chat area and complained with blood and tears. Maple Leaf Country Kebert. Don't be fooled by that dragon countryman, the dark underworld fruit he gave is fake, and you won't be able to awaken at all. Close black lens bracket. Maple Leaf Country Kebert. Don't be fooled by that dragon countryman, the dark underworld fruit he gave is fake, and you won't be able to awaken at all. Close black lens bracket. Maple Leaf Country Kebert. Don't be fooled by that dragon countryman, the dark underworld fruit he gave is fake, and you won't be able to awaken at all. Close black lens bracket. Kebert sent 3 messages in a row. Although he will be banned from the island world for 2 days because of this, he will not hesitate. Su-bai's ugly face must be exposed, and innocent people can no longer be harmed. Kebert's heart was filled with the holiness of a martyr. He felt like he was about to become a hero, enjoying the accolades of the crowd. The fly in the ointment is that he was banned from speaking for 2 days and could not make a victory speech. But it doesn't matter, 2 days later, he will debut the hero to meet his own highlight moment. It's just that the progress of things seems to be somewhat in line with Kebert's expectations. Not only did no one praise him, but they spoke ill of him. Lighthouse Country Richard. What, you damned fellow wasted a dark fruit. Close black lens bracket. The sun never sets. Fizz. I can't forgive, what are you? You are also worthy of using the dark fruit. Maple Leaf Country Vincent. Get the garbage out of our land. Close black lens bracket. Kangaroo Country Wolf. Have you noticed that there are not many dark fruits in the trading center, and Su-bai still has inventory? Close black lens bracket. Banksy Country Park Renmang. God Su-bai, I am your long-lost son, Dad, please give me a dark fruit, let me feel the long-lost father's love. Fuzang Kingdom. Day on the Mountain, Baga. I am the son of Su-god. Close black lens bracket. Longuo Jiao Hao. The people upstairs are shameless, where are you going? Longuo Wu Qianshin. Yes, Su Shen is the pride of our Longuo, how can you ugly bastards have a relationship? Open black lens bracket, close black lens bracket. Kebert looked at the mess in the chat area. Why do those people just can't see through the face of that person from the Dragon Kingdom? Obviously he was the victim, but he was scolded instead. But the eyes of the crowd were sharp, and Kebert found someone thanking him. Lighthouse Country. More, at Kebert. I must thank you for your reminder, I almost forgot that the awakening ability is not 100% successful, I need to shoot 2 more dark fruits. Puff. Kebert spat out a mouthful of old blood and fell to the ground. Is there still a law in this world? Chapter 59. Although Kebert became a joke, his sacrifice was not for nothing. Many apprentice island owners suddenly found that they were too optimistic. Awakening abilities are not so easy to accomplish. Even potential candidates need to eat it multiple times, and only after a certain amount of accumulation can they complete their awakening. Of course, there is also a supernatural fruit that awakens. But it's still a minority. In addition, according to statistics, the ability user who wakes up after eating multiple ability fruits will have stronger combat power. Because of their power potential, they need more power fruits to activate. It has been 100 years since human beings discovered the island world, and many things are still not fully understood. Like the awakening of a supernatural being, it is basically based on feeling. To be safe, at least 3 or more power fruits should be prepared. If possible, start with double digits. Now, Kebert reminded others with practical actions that a dark fruit is not enough, and it is quite enough. Many apprentice island owners were in a hurry and hurried to find a way to continue raising money. Start a new round of bidding. There are also many trainee island owners who have given up. The current price of dark fruit is not something they can afford. Unless the ownership of the island continues to be sold. This is unacceptable to many trainee island owners. Plus Kebert's tragic experience is there. If you use up all your belongings and take a dark fruit, and the awakening fails, then it is really a dead end. Even if you are lucky enough to survive the storm, what kind of flowers can you play on a bare island? Under such circumstances, some trainee island owners raised an optimistic attitude and felt that the first storm should not be too difficult. Maybe there are no monsters invading. Why should they throw all their money into a bottomless pit? However, there are also objections from the host of the trainee island. When the storm comes, there must be monsters invading, and it is nothing more than the number of monsters. Why lie to yourself? It is more secure to use the fruit of supernatural power to cultivate the supernatural. Stud is a kind of wisdom. Money can be earned again after spending. Anyway, there are supernatural powers. Are you afraid that you won't be able to earn it back? The trainee island owners expressed their opinions and had a heated debate in the chat area. And those apprentice island owners who are really powerful are making bids. The price of E-level dark fruit starts from 15 special plants and goes up continuously. 16, 17, 18. Bidding starts to slow down. This is also normal. At this stage, the resources of the trainee island owners are limited. Smash the pot and sell the iron to sell the ownership of the island. How much can it sell for? The development of a new island is full of uncertainties. No matter how rich the consortium is, it has to consider the rate of return. Don't dare to invest too much, so as not to lose everything. To be honest, the storm was coming, and many consortiums made additional investments, otherwise they would have to maintain a stable pace to develop the island. Subai saw that the bidding speed of the trading center slowed down, and estimated that it was almost reaching its limit. Those who are still bidding are basically the top 100 on the island rating list. Up to now, the total value of the 14 E-rank dark fruits is 308 special plants. Although they are all black iron, and the effect is generally tasteless, but Subai is not picky. This thing is a tasteless thing in the island world, and if you get it to Blue Star, it is affordable for rich people, and it can bring huge benefits. When the dark fruit was listed, Subai set the auction time for the E-level dark fruit. At this point, the end is near, and the price sprints again, and then settles down. As for D-level, Subai wisely chose unlimited time. This is what really pays off. Although the other apprentice island owners were upset, they couldn't find fault. Just when everyone was smashing the pot and selling iron to compete for the D-level dark fruit, Subai received a message from Richard. Lighthouse Country. Richard, at Subai. I have a silver-level seedling in my hand, and 543 asked to exchange 10 D-level dark fruit. I know you still have the stock, don't hide it. Close black lens bracket. This is the big mouth of the lion. But Subai is not surprised. It's nothing more than asking the sky to pay back the money on the spot. If you come up and expose your cards, you will only be led by the nose. As for the silver-level seedlings that Richard mentioned, if nothing else, he opened them from the silver-level treasure chest. He is the second to become a trainee island owner and has received awards from the island world. This kind of good thing is rare, Subai immediately said in the chat area. Add friends to discuss in detail. 99. Although Richard is arrogant, he regards Subai as his biggest opponent. But when Subai talked about adding friends, he couldn't help being a little excited. At the same time a little sad. The silver-level seedlings that he managed to keep will be handed over to the Dragon Kingdom. But Richard thought about it. It was useless to keep him in his hands, and he might be hacked by Hardy or Chryso one day. It is better to take action now and maximize the benefits. If he can become a power user, his right to speak on the island will be greatly increased. Hardy and Chryso dare to point fingers at him again, and they will kill him directly. Although his island ownership is low, it is orthodox after all, and the island world will also favor him. After figuring it out, Richard applied for a friend without any psychological burden. After Su Bai passed, he immediately said, 10 dark fruits will not work, I can only give you 5. 35. Richard. 5. In your Dragon Kingdom's words, you send beggars. 9. This is my bottom line. Su Bai laughed secretly. This Richard was quite good at chatting, and then typed a line, the dark fruit in my hand is reserved for the special affairs team, I can't give you too many. 6. Richard. Don't pretend to me here, you think I don't know your relationship with the special team, you are just a verbal agreement. 8. Su Bai. Ming people don't speak secret words, the special team bought the dark fruit at the auction price. As a native of Longuo, I must give priority to supporting my own people. 7 pieces. Richard. Deal. Soon, Richard's silver level plant was placed on the trading column, and related attributes also appeared in Su Bai's field of vision. Storm Strawberry. Middle grade silver, the fruit can strengthen the effect of wind power. Su Bai was taken aback. No wonder Richard was willing to trade it. This Storm Strawberry is an annual herb not to mention. The effect is only to strengthen the ability, not to awaken the ability. Also limited to wind powers. Positioning is awkward. But that's for others. For Su Bai, it couldn't be more suitable. By brushing an excellent entry, the quality of the Storm Strawberry can definitely be upgraded to the gold level. And most of them, like the previous Scorching Sunflowers, have become able to awaken their abilities. Gold level special plants correspond to sea level abilities. With a smile on his face, Su Bai took out 7 dark underworld fruits and put them on to confirm the transaction. He didn't know whether Richard earned or not, but he earned it with blood anyway. At the moment when the transaction was completed, Hardy and Chryso sensed something was wrong on Richard's island and came to the door angrily. When they saw that the silver-grade Storm Strawberry had disappeared, their eyes darkened and they almost fainted. Hardy took all the belongings, and immediately rushed to grab Richard's neckline and said angrily, "Damn, what did you do, you bastard?" 5. Chryso is also cold as ice. He felt like he was being tricked. But can't admit it. He could only stand beside him with a sullen face, thinking about how to give Richard a look. At the same time, I kept cheering for Hardy in my heart, do it quickly, beat this bastard to death. It's a pity that Hardy failed to succeed, mainly because of his poor physical fitness. Richard became a trainee island owner this year, and his 10-year hard training has brought his energy to the peak. Hardy, on the other hand, has been pampered for more than 10 years, and he has not been able to become a superhuman, and his body has long been hollowed out. In terms of force, Richard was able to rub Hardy to the ground. Richard grabbed Hardy's wrist, pushed it away slowly and firmly, with a sneer on his mouth, and said, "What I do, I don't need to report to you." 35. Hardy was so angry that his nose was crooked, and he roared, "Don't forget, our Rust Consortium owns 40% of the island's ownership, and the Storm Strawberry also has a share of the consortium." 99. Chryso added, "The White House Consortium also has a share." Richard blinked and said innocently, "It's not mine, it's the island world." 99. 66 to the power of 9 to the power of 9. After a brief stupor, Hardy directly scolded the crab with a generous gift. "Is this what people say?" Chryso, who was next to him, pondered for a moment, then said with difficulty, "According to the rules of the island world, it is true." "Mr. Hardy, we were deceived by this sly Richard." Hardy was petrified on the spot. What? Richard was triumphant. These two middle-aged people, with their minds rigid, still want to fight him, they are simply beyond their own power. Sadly, they have forgotten the hidden rules of the island world. Pushing Hardy to the ground, Richard took out a dark fruit and swallowed it twice. Immediately, a smile appeared on his face, and he clenched his fists and let out a roar of victory. "Power, I feel power." 39. Hardy stood up with Chryso's support, his lips trembling with anger. But Richard's rising breath made him dare not speak. Chryso was also secretly startled. This Richard actually has the potential to become a power user. And it looks like the potential is low. But he did this because he didn't want the inheritance of the island world. Those ancient powers can only be inherited by the island owner. And there is an important premise, not to be contaminated with the power of other attributes. In any case, supernatural beings are definitely not going to work. However, after thinking for a moment, Chryso had to admit that Richard's choice was no problem, and it could even be said to be quite correct. No matter how beautiful the inheritance of the island world is, it is still a little too far away. Even a senior island owner may not have the chance. It would be better to become an ability user, and you can immediately master quite powerful power. The power user awakened by the island owner is much stronger than the ordinary power user. Because they have the blessing of the island world, the basic attributes are higher. And the aliens are much worse. Without the blessing of the island world, even the body will be eroded by supernatural powers and become weaker. Right now, under the strong pressure of the Rust Consortium and the White House Consortium, Richard has awakened to become a power user and will immediately have the strength to rival them. Even if he only has 20% ownership of the island. But in the rules of the island world, he is the real master of the island. Hardy and Chryso looked at each other, and at the same time took out the communicator, ready to contact the consortium. But I was shocked to find that the communicator had no signal at all. Hardy endured his fear and shouted, "Richard, you lunatic, quickly remove the shield of the island, the storm is coming, don't you want the support of the consortium?" Chryso also persuaded, "Richard, we're friends, it doesn't have to be." The intestines of both of them have turned green. If they had known this, they would never have dared to come here. Who would have thought that Richard with thick eyebrows and big eyes actually hides a crazy heart? However, Richard was too lazy to pay attention to them, and took out a dark fruit to swallow again. His muscles bulged high, and his supernatural powers moved under his skin like a small snake. Richard, who was already strong, swelled 2 more laps, and even burst his clothes. Hardy and Chryso couldn't hold it any longer and slumped to the ground. "Now Richard, I'm afraid they can be smashed into flesh with one punch." But Richard didn't even look at them, and felt that he was barely awake. This time, I directly took out 2 dark underworld fruits, grabbed one in each of my left and right hands, and stuffed it into my mouth. Boom! A bolt of lightning pierced the sky. Under the light, Richard was like a devil, full of tyranny. "Ah, ah, ah!" Richard raised his head and roared, and the mark on the back of his hand was dyed dark green. Immediately, Richard punched the dirt in the distance. The invisible fist wind created a ravine on the ground. The soil was black and had a pungent smell. In the horrified eyes of Hardy and Chryso, the stones in the soil melted. What kind of poisonous power is this, so terrifying? The stones have melted, and if they were hit, the consequences would be unimaginable. Ha ha ha. 99. Richard laughed wildly. He felt in great shape, a powerful feeling he had never experienced before. Now he is like a god walking in the world. Looking back at Hardy and Chryso, Richard had completely ignored them. These 2 mortals are not worth his anger. Richard strode forward, banging into the sea. Hardy and Chryso looked at each other. Did Richard's awakening ability burn his brain out? But soon, Richard returned, holding 2 breathless monsters in his hands. He's practicing powers. Naturally, Subai didn't know what had happened to Richard. In fact, even if he knew, he wouldn't care. Richard's island does not know where it is, and the 2 sides have not intersected for the time being. Taking a step back, Subai is not false even if he is confronted. The power of the killing god entry is beyond imagination. What if Richard BHCF became a supernatural being, he could be wiped out. While thinking about it, the auction of the trading center came to an end. Although Subai did not set a deadline for the D-level dark fruit, the price has not changed for 5 minutes. This shows that other trainee island owners have given up. Subai glanced at the bidder. It was found that Fizz had purchased 3 D-rank dark fruits. He also bought 4 of the E-level dark underworld fruits that had expired before. When it comes to deep pockets, Fitz definitely fits the bill. Subai estimates that there must be strong support behind this. But now, it's all in Subai's bag. After confirming the auction of the D-rank dark fruit, Subai obtained a total of 30 bronze rank special plants and 450 black iron rank special plants. Greatly enriched his island. The only fly in the ointment is that even if Subai offered a high price, he could not receive the second jade ultimatum for the coordinates of the enchanted island. But this is also normal. The coordinate jade of the enchanted island itself is a scarce resource. It is difficult for senior island owners to get them, let alone newcomers. As the first apprentice island owner this year, Subai could only get a coordinate jade from the special team. Not to mention other apprentice island owners. As for Kebert's piece of coordinate jade, most of it came from a treasure chest. In fact, if it weren't for this storm, Kebert probably wouldn't have come out for a deal. Although he did not have the strength to explore the magic island for the time being, it does not mean that he will not have it in the future. Unfortunately, the coming storm disrupted his plans. It also disrupted Subai's plans, and he was also greatly affected. However, after a series of operations, Subai not only did not suffer losses, but also made a fortune. Subai began to take stock of this harvest. There are only 6 D-rank dark fruits, but the total value is more than 14 E-rank dark fruits. 30 bronze-ranked plants and 415 black iron-ranked plants. Such an exaggerated income was even greater than Subai's total harvest a few days ago. This is not over yet. Although the E-level dark fruit is not as good as the D-level, it is better than the number. The total value reaches 308 dark iron plants. An average dark fruit is equivalent to 22 special plants. More than double what Subai expected. Up to now, I have harvested a total of 1 silver-ranked plant, 30 bronze-ranked plants, and 723 black iron-ranked plants, as well as a magic island coordinate jade. 55. And I still have 7 D-level dark fruits that I can sell to the special team. Hey, get rich. Not that I don't know, but I was startled. Subai never expected that he would get such an exaggerated return for selling the dark fruit this time. So many special plants are waiting for him to collect in the trading center. Once planted on an island, his island rating will double up instantly. But after thinking for a moment, Subai decided to store these special plants. The storm is approaching, and if you plant special plants now, you will have to endure the crazy torrential rain, and you may have to suffer the aftermath of the battle. Although there is a little transaction fee in the trading center, the plant will become a little wilted. But it's better than a direct loss. When the battle is over, it can be transplanted on a large scale to take the development of the island to a higher level. Concentrating his mind, Subai received news from Shen Qingling. How many dark fruits do you have in your hands? Close black lens bracket. Subai suddenly felt embarrassed. At first, the special team asked for 20 dark fruits, but he cut them down and turned them into 15. As a result, in the following operation, 8 were misappropriated. Less than half are left for the special task force. In the darkness, Subai's handsome face was slightly hot, and he replied to Shen Qingling, "There are 7 more, all of them are D rank." 35. On the other end, Shen Qingling breathed a sigh of relief. Although she is not in the chat channel of the apprentice island owner, she also knows how fierce the auction of the dark fruit is. It is also known that Richard exchanged the special silver level plant for the dark fruit in Subai's hands. At that time, Shen Qingling was also worried that Subai waved his hand and sold all the reservations of the special team. Unexpectedly, there are still 7 left, which is a pleasant surprise. If you are lucky, you might be able to cultivate 2 supernatural beings. Taking a step back, it is good to have one. Shen Qingling has successfully cultivated a power user with the 6 dark fruits given by Subai. The result shocked her. It is also a D-level power user, who is awakened with the dark fruit, which is much stronger than ordinary power users. The special team also decided to purchase the dark fruit at the highest price after knowing the news. There are still 7 left, which are still within the acceptable range. Before sending the message, Shen Qingling had already prepared for nothing. In order to avoid the twists and turns of regeneration, Shen Qingling quickly replied, "The special team bought the dark fruit in your hand at the unit price of 10 bronze level and 90 black iron level plants. 99. The price is very fair. It's already top-notch." Subai naturally would not object. Immediately sent the dark fruit to Shen Qingling, and said at the same time, "The things from the special affairs team are put there first, and then they will be sent to me when the storm is over." 5. Shen Qingling was moved. Under the current circumstances, the price of 7 dark underworld fruits is enough to make even the most destitute island owner rich. As a result, Su Bai sent over without hesitation. There wasn't even a request to inspect the special team's supplies first. This is her trust. Then, what Shen Qingling has to do is very simple. Return this trust by making sure that the transaction is a foolproof one. While accepting the dark fruit, Shen Qingling also sent a message. Don't worry, I will never let you suffer. 5. Su Bai was noncommittal and said nothing. After closing the chat, Su Bai called Du Ling and Zan Mengyu over. It's getting late, rest early, after dawn, the real test will be. Although Du Lin wanted to practice for a while, she also knew that she needed to rest to replenish her strength. Otherwise, you will be tired, and you will be a burden. Zan Mengyu is in good condition, but she also knows how to combine work and rest. If you want to repay Su Bai's trust, don't be in a hurry at this time. Helping the island owner to survive the storm is the best way to repay. The two looked at each other and replied at the same time, yes. Immediately, Du Ling asked shyly, Lord Island Master, how do you rest at night? 35. Su Bai pointed to the tent and said, one of you, one of me, the conditions are poor now, please bear with it for a while, and then rebuild the shelter after the storm is over. After speaking, Su Bai got into the tent directly, let go of his mind and went to sleep. The whole process was so fast that Du Ling and Zan Mengyu were not able to react. After a long time, Zan Mengyu let out a sigh, Lord Island Master, I really don't understand the style. Du Ling nodded in agreement. But soon, Zan Mengyu whispered a few words in Du Ling's ear, causing Du Ling's cheeks to turn red. The two patrolled the island, and after confirming that there was no danger, they entered the tent to rest. The island owner is right, the real test is after dawn, and you must maintain enough physical strength. The three of Su Bai rested separately, and the apprentice island owners on the other islands were also making final preparations. Fitz looked at the dark fruit in front of him and kept talking. He was a little dissatisfied. Although a total of 7 dark fruits were obtained, the grades were different. 4 are E grades, and only 3 are D grades. Like Richard, Fitz intends to directly awaken to become a power user. No matter how strong the inheritance of the island world is, it must be able to survive until that time. Fitz probably couldn't wait until then. In order to photograph these dark fruits, he asked for a large number of special plants from the official hand of the sun never sets. These materials were sent to his island one after another, which greatly increased the risk of monster invasion. If you can't replenish your strength in time, even if you survive the storm, you will eventually die. In this case, it is better to gain power in time and become a superhuman. Awaken with E-level dark underworld fruit first, and then replenish D-level. Fitz thinks clearly. If I'm lucky, I can first awaken the E-level ability, and then awaken the D-level ability, and the attack methods will be more diverse. Even if it fails, at least it can be filled with the power of the D-level dark fruit and obtain the E-level ability. And the other way around, it's a little more difficult. Regarding the awakening of the power user, Fitz collected a lot of information and worked out the most suitable awakening plan. Immediately, he picked up the dark fruit, closed his eyes and prayed, and then ate it. At the same time, the other island owners who obtained the dark underworld fruit were also doing the same thing. On a certain island, an apprentice island owner of the Dragon Kingdom looked at the dark fruit in front of him, and his eyes were full of fighting spirit. Su Bai, I will definitely surpass you and become the monthly Rookie King and even the Supreme Rookie King. Su Bai, who was sleeping soundly, turned over. He doesn't care what other people think. His idea was simple: replenish your stamina, and then kill all the monsters you will commit in the storm. Then transplant a large number of special plants to the island to start a new round of expansion. Silent all night. At 6 in the morning, Su Bai was ready to wake up. After opening the tent, he reached out and rubbed his eyes. Is it his delusion, or is he oversleep? Why is the sky outside the tent so dark? People who don't know it thought it was midnight. Master Islander, you are awake. Zan Mengyu's voice came from the side. Su Bai walked out of the tent, greeted the two, and looked at the time. It is indeed morning. Looking up, Su Bai saw the rolling clouds. The sparse light was projected from the gap to the sea, bringing a little light. The cold sea breeze whistled past, bringing extremely humid air. Just standing for a moment, Su Bai felt his hair was a little wet. Su Bai's expression gradually became solemn. Before the storm came, it had already caused a vision in heaven and earth, and there was no distinction between day and night. When it really comes, what kind of scene will it be? I am afraid it is unimaginable. The terribleness of this storm may have exceeded everyone's expectations. Chapter 60. In the dim light, the expressions of Su Bai, Du Ling and Zhan Mengyu were ugly. Su Bai squeezed his chin for a moment, and said, "It can't be so coincidental, we are in the middle of the storm." Du Ling and Zhan Mengyu did not answer. They have never encountered such a situation, and they really don't know how to answer. Shouldn't be that way. After observing for a while, Su Bai was sure that the location of his island was not related to the center of the storm. Far away, almost on the edge. But there is already such a vision in the marginal area. If we go further inside, is there still a way to survive? Not to mention a trainee island owner, even a senior island owner might not be easy to deal with. The invading monsters are on the one hand, and the damage from the storm cannot be ignored. It will even be the main factor. Su Bai boldly speculates. If it is in the center of the storm, even the monsters don't have to land, and the wind alone is enough to bring the island to its knees. Du Ling swallowed hard and said, "The scale of this storm has exceeded expectations. This is not a way for newcomers to survive." Zhan Mengyu also felt the same way. However, the two soon became indifferent, and their eyes were full of determination. No matter how terrible the storm is, they will fight with the island owner to the end. Just as Su Bai was about to speak, he suddenly heard the sound of the announcement from the island world appearing in his mind. Warning. Detected that the storm is coming. The wartime merit list has been opened. Please fight the enemy bravely and hit higher rewards. Close black lens bracket. Warning. Detected that the storm is coming. The wartime merit list has been opened. Please fight the enemy bravely and hit higher rewards. Close black lens bracket. Warning. Detected that the storm is coming. The wartime merit list has been opened. Please fight the enemy bravely and hit higher rewards. Close black lens bracket. The notification sound appeared 3 times in succession. All the island owners who heard the announcement, whether they were apprentice island owners or senior island owners, put down their work and communicated with their imprints to check the situation. When they saw the new list, their hands and feet were cold. Even the island world was disturbed. The storm this time is probably not so simple. There may be other secrets involved. Otherwise, how could the island world open the wartime merit list and use high rewards to stimulate the will of the island owner to fight? Normally, there is only one list in the island world. That is the island rating list of the trainee island owner. In this way, the monthly rookie king and even the supreme rookie king are determined. After that, there is basically no list. Except for the wartime merit list. This is a list whose opening conditions have not yet been fully determined. However, based on past experience, the general view is that this list opens whenever monsters appear on a large scale. Rewards vary. Not that the island world is stingy. But the biggest feature of this list is that it is not capped. If you kill a monster, you can get a black iron treasure chest at least. Kill 10, then you will be upgraded to bronze rank. In theory, as long as the number of monsters killed is enough, the reward can even be upgraded to platinum level or even diamond level treasure chests. That is what the Supreme Rookie King has the opportunity to obtain. You must know that even the monthly Rookie King can only get 1 gold level treasure chest. However, in order to obtain better rewards, in addition to your own strength, you must have a certain amount of luck. After all, if the monster didn't come, even if it could kill the cow with 1 punch, it would be hard to cry alone. You can't just create monsters out of thin air. In general, the appearance of the wartime merit list means that this storm is really unusual. Storms are common in the island world. It can even be said that it occurs every day. Only the location and size are different. But I haven't seen the wartime merit list opened a few times. As a result, this year's newcomers have just entered the field, and it has not been 2 days since they became apprentice island owners, and storm came with the wartime merit list. In the century-old history of the discovery of the island world, this has rarely been the case. The island world is cruel, but it also has temperature. In times of crisis, there is a way to survive. But this time, it was markedly different. Su Bai's heart skipped a beat. Is this storm related to the changes mentioned by the Special Task Force? In other words, judging from the existing information, the changes in the island world seem to be developing in a bad direction. Su Bai was speechless. Can you still have fun? How does it feel that anything can happen to him? Concentrating his mind, Subai opened the newcomer chat area, ready to see the reactions of all parties. What he didn't expect was that there were several old faces thanking him. Lighthouse Country, Richard, at Subai. Although you are my competitor, I must admit that because of your dark fruit, I have greater confidence to weather the storm. In addition, in this wartime merit list, I will definitely surpass you. Close black lens bracket. The sun never sets, Fizz, at Subai. Although you made me destitute, you still made me a power user. This time, I will take back everything I lost. Close black lens bracket. Dragon Kingdom, Xuanzhan, at Subai. On behalf of the Special Task Force, I would like to thank you for your generosity. I will give you all the awards for this wartime merit list to express my gratitude. Close black lens bracket. Subai was a little confused. Fortunately, Richard and Fitz said that they spent a lot of money to obtain the dark fruit from him, definitely not to show off, but to become a power user. It was their luck that they succeeded. But where did the Dragon Country Islander named Zan come from? Did they meet before? No. But from the other party's words, Subai knew the general situation. The island owner named Zan was supposed to be the key support target of the Special Affairs team. The D-level dark fruit purchased by the Special Affairs team with a lot of money may have been prepared for him. Subai didn't care much about this. Whoever uses the secret fruit of the special team is their freedom. Subai doesn't care, he just collects the money. Not to mention, the special team gave a lot, even a little more than the highest price of the auction. The 7D rank dark fruits brought to Subai 70 bronze rank special plants, plus 630 black iron rank special plants. As much as you know with your knees, those are annual herbs. But the value cannot be ignored. And herbs are good too. Grow fast. That quickly translates into revenue. The only problem is that there is not enough magic field in Subai. With only 20 acres of land, I am afraid that even the bronze rank special plants cannot be planted, let alone the massive black iron rank special plants. Subai finds himself in somewhat of a happy trouble. Alas, being too rich is not good either. Collecting his thoughts, Subai replied in the newcomer chat area, "Don't thank me, everyone gets what they need. By the way, what do you think of this storm?" Subai's words resonated with the majority of trainee island owners. Everyone no longer paid attention to the auction last night, but discussed today's storm. This dark sky made everyone's heart heavy, and they couldn't wait to vomit in the chat area. Fuzhang Kingdom, Ono Chingsong. I suspect that this storm was caused by Amaterasu, so mighty and glorious. Banxi Kingdom Li Hegwang. Nonsense, he is obviously our Amaterasu. Longguo Wei Gao. Stop talking nonsense, the storm is about to come, and you are still poor here, still think about how to resist the invasion of monsters. Lighthouse Country Hans. The brilliance of freedom guides us, no matter what monster it is here to die. Close black lens bracket. Malbear Country Orlando. Everyone wait for my good news and see how I tear monsters with my hands. Close black lens bracket. Beckland Middleton. You're killing yourself. Kangaroo Country Price. I recruited 50 boxers, enough to make any invading monsters die without a place to die. Close black lens bracket. Kangaroo Country Murray. You don't want to die upstairs. 50 boxers will definitely attract countless monsters to land. If there is no ability user, what do you keep? Lighthouse Country Tom. I really don't want to admit that the Kangaroo Country is our ally, and it has cultivated such a stupid island owner. Opening square bracket, closing square bracket. The chat area is full of discussions. Most of the trainee island owners' speeches are not nutritious, they are just chatting and irritating there. However, it can be seen that the general situation is not optimistic. There are already many apprentice island owners who have directly recruited existing power users regardless of the risk. Monsters are attracted to attract. Even the wartime merit list has been opened, how can the situation get worse? It's better to give it a go and seek a lifeline. If before that, they were still lucky. Then after seeing this kind of sky, there is no such idea anymore. According to the general forecast, the storm will not come until the afternoon. It's only after 6 o'clock in the morning, and I'm almost out of sight. The clouds were so gloomy that there was no light and no hope. There is no need to guess how much damage this storm will cause. Absolutely heavy casualties. While the apprentice island owner is gloomy, the official island owner is not much better. They have operated the island for many years and have mastered a powerful force. The island is vast, and special plants can be seen everywhere. In any corner of Blue Star, they have a pivotal right to speak. But, in the island world, that's really nothing. They are stronger, the monsters are stronger. Not only in level, but also in quantity. Kill a batch, and new monsters will appear immediately, and you can't kill them all. Especially after learning that the wartime merit list was opened, many senior island owners turned pale. They have experienced it, so they are more frightened than others. The words, wartime merit list, represent endless death. Those who were not in the storm zone were excited to pop champagne to celebrate. But before they could be happy, they were stunned to discover that a large number of black shadows appeared on the sea around the island. The monster roared and began to land from a different angle. They were obviously not in the storm area, but they were also attacked by monsters, which was outrageous. However, these island owners are still good, because in the storm area, there are more monsters. The battle started silently. To be honest, Subai didn't expect the monster to appear so quickly. Early in the morning, the storm was still on the way, so you jumped out first, right? Whether it is suitable or not, the monster has appeared anyway. In an instant, more than a dozen red dots appeared on the stereo detection. After a brief pause, the red dot splits into two and begins to invade from east and west. Subai breathed a sigh of relief. His preparations paid off. Those monsters really saved the trouble and came from the flat gap. Subai summoned Du Ling and Zan Mengyu, and said quickly, "The monster is coming. According to the original plan, you defend the gap in the west, the rock soldiers and the earth spirit will act with you. Be careful, don't take the initiative to kill, just rely on long-range attack from cover. I'm going to guard the east." This is a previously agreed combat strategy. The overall shape of the island of Subai is a long strip, which is long in the east-west direction and narrow in the north-south direction. With the efforts of the earth spirit yesterday, the ground on the north and south sides was raised a lot, forming a steep slope, in order to let the monsters give up the idea of attacking from here and turn to the east and west sides. There are defensive positions arranged by Subai, as well as a large number of bunkers made by the earth spirits. Thanks to the basic terrain of the island, the entire defensive position has a certain depth. On the path of the monster's charge, they will take several rounds of blows. Even if the number is large, there is still room for buffering, and it will not be directly breached. Although the monster appeared unusually early, Subai didn't panic. The preparatory work to be done has been completed, and the next step is to play normally. After the practice last night, Du Ling initially mastered the supernatural ability, which effectively reduced the consumption and greatly prolonged the battle time. Moreover, Zan Mengyu and her acted together, and the two of them covered each other. When facing the black iron monster, there should be no pressure. Action. With Subai's order, Du Ling and Zan Mengyu immediately ran to the predetermined position. The rock soldiers were already there, ready to attack with stone arrows. The first dozen or so monsters that landed were old friends, iron-clad lizards. 7 of them went to the west. Before they had time to be happy, their joints were shattered by the oncoming stone archery, and they lay on the ground unable to move. This is also Subai's arrangement. The task of the rock soldier is not to kill the enemy, but to disturb the enemy as much as possible. The killing task was handed over to Du Ling and Zan Mengyu. If the number of monsters is too large, the rock soldiers will come out from behind the cover and raise their fists to melee the monsters. However, judging from the current situation, it has not reached that point. In Subai's perception, several of the monsters in the west stopped moving. Obviously, the rock soldiers have achieved good results. When Du Ling and Zan Mengyu were in place, the red dots began to decrease rapidly. Subai showed a satisfied expression, and immediately charged towards the east position. There is a shield of clear water spinning around him. In the corner next to it, Shui Ling with the entry water column impact is on standby, ready to attack at any time. Subai's body drew an afterimage, and instantly rushed over a distance of hundreds of meters, and the dragon sword in his hand swept out, beheading the iron-armored lizard in the charge. Immediately, heat flowed into Subai's limbs, not only making up for his physical exhaustion, but even a large surplus. This is the battle-absorbing ability given to him by the Killing God entry. It is also the fundamental reason why Subai has the confidence to defend the East alone. He is not afraid of physical exhaustion at all. Just kill 2 monsters and make up for it. Coupled with a tenfold increase in basic stats, Subai does not need supernatural powers, and there are no monsters that can be killed with just a dragon blade. The iron-clad lizards that invaded from the east were annihilated without being able to hold on for 30 seconds. At the same time, the monster red dots in the west also disappeared. Subai turned on the walkie-talkie and said, "Well done, regain your strength, this battle will be long." Yes. Du Ling and Zhan Mengyu sat down behind the cover, their bodies relaxed. They didn't have much physical exertion, but they still didn't dare to slack off. Because the monster appeared too early. And there are dozens of them as soon as they appear, which is very unreasonable. Although they are all low-level iron-armored lizards of black iron, they can kill them in seconds with a single blow. But the meaning behind it made Du Ling and Zhan Mengyu a little uneasy. If the storm has come, it is normal for so many ironclad lizards to appear. It's not even 7 o'clock in the morning now. There are at least 6 or 7 hours before the scheduled storm time. Now that so many ironclad lizards have landed, what a terrifying scene will it be when the storm comes? Maybe there will be nearly 100 monsters invading at the same time. The island of the senior island owner is not so attractive. However, Du Ling and Zhan Mengyu did not complain. They just rested quietly and waited for a new monster to appear. Meow meow meow. The jewel cat emerged from the corner and directed the rock soldiers to remove the body of the iron-clad lizard. Before the second batch of monsters arrived, Subai quickly opened the newcomer chat area to see how other people were doing. As he predicted, it's not just that his island is invaded by monsters. Basically, as long as the island owner can still breathe, they are complaining. These monsters came too early. Don't they need to sleep? Lighthouse Country Richard. 6 monsters came to my island, they were easily killed by me, too easy, not difficult at all. Open black lens bracket. The sun never sets. Fitz, who isn't close black lens bracket. Subai found that these 2 goods are always the most active. They awakened their abilities, and the battle was easy. Others struggled a bit. Fuzang Kingdom, Qinfang's hard work. Is there a mistake? My island has nothing, and 3 monsters came at the same time. I survived after using all the props at the bottom of the press box. Lighthouse Country Weiss. This morning, the shadow of the storm has not appeared yet. There are already monsters invading, waiting for the storm. There will be no way for us to survive. Banksy Kingdom, Jin Chungshan, Shiba, 2 of the thugs I hired died at once, and it was a loss. Malbear Country Orlando. I take back what I said before, I can't beat monsters at all, I'm a waste. Kangaroo Country. Timmy, have you encountered a monster? I am calm here and there is no danger at all. It seems that I am the chosen one. Close black lens bracket. Ding dong, Timmy, the owner of Kangaroo Country, has left the chat area. Opening square bracket comma closing square bracket. Is this cold? Subai was a little dumbfounded. Immediately frowned. As he expected, the monster invasion was a large-scale event. Rough statistics, as long as they are in the storm area, about 70% of the Apprentice Island owners have encountered monster invasion. At this time, someone shouted in the chat area. It was none other than old friend Richard. Lighthouse Country. Richard, at Subai. Why do you already have 15 kills? The Apprentice Island owners who had just ended the battle remembered that this time they opened the wartime merit list, and quickly opened it to check. Then I was shocked to find that the first place was Subai again. It's nothing. After all, he was the first to become a trainee island owner, and he must have 2 brushes. The key is there a problem with this kill count? Ask for flowers. There are as many as 15. Richard and Fitz, who were tied for second place, had 6 kills. Many Apprentice Island owners suddenly want to know. What the heck is on Subai's island, and why is it so attractive? In addition, why is his strength so strong? 15 monsters were easily beheaded. Looking at the crying island owner in the chat area, many people felt a sense of separation. As if Subai and they were not in the same world. Is the gap between people really that big? Subai didn't have time to care what others thought. He glanced at the records of the island world. Your kill count is 1, and the current reward is a black iron treasure chest. Your kill count is 3, and the current reward is a black iron treasure chest. Your kill count is 15, and the current reward is a bronze treasure chest. Subai suddenly ignited a higher fighting spirit. This storm is both a crisis and an opportunity. If he can grasp it, then his advantage will be further expanded. The other apprentice island owners could only be left behind by him to eat exhaust. The monthly Rookie King, he is going to make a decision. The Supreme Rookie King, he wants to. The apprentice island owners had just discovered that Subai had rushed to the top of the new rankings without a sound, and before they came to remember the emotion, the monster's roar sounded again. On Subai's side, it was also found that a new red dot appeared within the stereoscopic detection range. It was still the familiar iron-armored lizard, but this time, there were two more. Fighting. After Subai finished speaking, he started to charge with the Longyan sword. It may be that the monster found that there are not many people defending him here, so they all concentrated. Of the dozen or so iron-clad lizards this time, almost 10 flocked to the eastern gap. And Du Ling and Zan Mengyu defended only a few western positions. The bowstring of the slanted moon bow vibrated, and the arrow flew out, pierced through the eyes of the iron-armored lizards, and destroyed their brains. In less than half a minute, the new iron-armored lizards all fell down. Zan Mengyu had an unreal feeling. When did she become so strong? If you haven't become a power user, you can use a longbow to kill black iron monsters in seconds. If you become a power user, won't you be able to compete with bronze-level monsters? This was something that was unthinkable before. But she also did not eat the fruit of supernatural power, so where did such great power come from? It must be the island owner. Zan Mengyu was very determined. Only the island owner has this kind of method, which can make her jump from an ordinary person to a master who is not inferior to the ability user. Islander, it's really unfathomable. Zan Mengyu's face was respectful, and she couldn't help but admire Subai. On the other side, Subai was strolling around under the siege of the ironclad lizards. Every time the Longyan sword in his hand sticks out, he can take away an iron-armored lizard. Before he could exert his strength, a dozen or so ironclad lizards walked behind their companions and fell to the ground violently. After the short battle, Subai glanced at the wartime merit list. His kill count has reached 32, more than double that of the second place. At this time, there is still no sign of rain. It's just that the wind is stronger, and the clouds are overcast, and the light is dim. A doomsday scene. Subai threw the blood bead on the Longyan knife, ran to a high place a few steps, and looked at the vastness of the world, giving birth to a little emotion. Collecting his thoughts, Subai looked around and found no trace of the monster on the sea. Stereo detection is also unresponsive. Rest in place and stand by. Subai turned on the walkie-talkie and gave a command, walked down from the height, and started to clean the battlefield. Although he became rich overnight and used the dark fruit to restrain a large amount of money, Subai knows the truth of accumulating a small amount of money. The scales of the iron-armored lizard were quickly cut off by him and transported back to a safe area by the Earth Spirit. By the way, Subai is also looking for the magical crystals of the armored lizards. The last time I enchanted the island, I didn't get the crystals of magical energy, and Subai is still haunted. By increasing his level, he can not only obtain higher basic attributes, but also further expand the advantages of the Killing God entry. Most importantly, it can increase the chance of entry fixation. This is what Subai values most. If he is still the same as before, he can only fix 3 entries, how can he have the current strength? Ding! Subai's thoughts were interrupted by the crisp sound. With a happy expression on his face, the dragon yin knife cut through the flesh and blood of the armored lizard and found the crystal of magic energy. While recovering, Subai ordered 2 rock soldiers to check the body of the iron-armored lizard in the west. Then he turned on the walkie-talkie and said, Du Ling, if you have magic energy crystals, you can absorb it directly. Magical energy crystals are harmful to ordinary people, and only island owners and power users can absorb them. Subai himself wants to level up, but Du Ling's level cannot be left behind. It is a pity that Zan Mengyu has not awakened for the time being, and cannot use the magic crystal, so she can only upgrade it later. In this regard, Zan Mengyu has no opinion. She believes that the island owner will not forget her, just do her own thing. Subai put away the walkie-talkie, shook off the bloodstains on the magic crystal and absorbed it. Immediately, I was delighted to discover that it was one step closer to the upgrade. This storm crisis will become the cornerstone for him to become stronger. Not long after, Du Ling heard news. They also found magic crystals there, but only one. Su Bai immediately asked Du Ling to absorb it. It didn't upgrade, but it also improved Du Ling's strength a bit. On Su Bai's side, a second magic energy crystal was found. Nothing to say, just absorb it directly. The power continued to emerge, as if there was endless power. Su Bai wanted to shout out who else. In his current state, he will definitely be able to kill him within a quarter of an hour when he encounters the demonized anaconda before. After adjusting to the new power, Su Bai waited for the monster to reappear. As a result, he was greatly disappointed, and he didn't even see the shadow of the monster. Glancing at the newcomer chat area, it was the same, the monster's offensive slowed down. However, the two attacks have already caused huge casualties. Some apprentice island owners were shocked to find that 6 or 7 friends in his friends column disappeared silently. Perhaps he gave up his identity as the island owner and chose to return to Blue Star. The bigger possibility is that they were killed by monsters. Just seeing it in the chat area, at least more than 300 apprentice island owners have lost news. The actual number of casualties is definitely greater. And this is only the calculated island owner. You must know that even if the island owner chooses to develop independently, they will not have only themselves on the island. Definitely hiring someone. When those casualties are added in, the total is exaggerated. And this is just the beginning. The storm did not come, and the monster's offensive was maintained at a minimum level. The monsters that appear now have different types, but their levels are all very fixed. It's the Black Iron subordinate. Not even an intermediate. Obviously, the monster's attack is also in batches. The cannon fodder troops take the lead first, and then the main force. Just a tentative attack made it difficult for many trainee island owners to resist, and what would happen in the future could be imagined. Pessimistic remarks can be seen everywhere in the newcomer chat area. Lighthouse Country Ross. These monsters are not something we can contend against at all. I am going to give up my identity as the island owner and return to Blue Star. Banksy Kingdom Park Demang. Zaiba, I want to sell 90% of the island ownership, but no consortium dares to take over. Fuzang Kingdom. Shimamura Saburo. The consortium is not panic because of the money. Now even the fools can see that the harm of this storm is beyond imagination. What do they want your broken island to do? The resources can still be heard when thrown into the water, teleported to your island, not even a fart. Banksy Country Park Demang. What did you say? The sun never sets. Barnard. Shut up, you two, don't you think everyone's heart is not messed up enough? Lighthouse Kingdom Eden. If I knew this earlier, I would smash the pot and sell iron to buy Su Shen's dark fruit, and his kill count is 32. A Sangwo roar. Don't say it, I'm regretting my bowels now. Lighthouse Country Richard. Ha 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 ha, I'm in great shape now, why haven't the monsters come, my hands are itchy. Close black lens bracket, opening square bracket ... closing parenthesis. There is a saying what to say. Just as Richard's message was released, a gust of wind swept across the stormy area. Countless island owners shivered involuntarily. Before they could curse the weather, there was an unpleasant scream from the sky. The apprentice island owner looked up and cursed in his heart. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.